Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for another video. This is going to be my top 10 thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. The game's been out for about a week now. I've gotten about 15 hours in the game, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've only gotten about most of the way through the Saiyan saga. So this is not like I've completed the game and I'm doing a review. This is more my first impressions. I'm already 15 hours into the game, and you're probably thinking, how the heck are you 15 hours in and only through the Saiyan saga? That's because I'm very thorough in these RPG open world games. I go everywhere, I look for everything. So without further ado, let's dive in to my top 10 thoughts on DBZ Kakarot. So number 10 is going to be partly a critique I have of the game, and that is more of the minion fights. There's really not a very good variety thus far of minion fights. I know that later on in the game you probably get, Frieza soldiers and all that, but right now it's just been Cybermen and some pirate robot from Dragon Ball. And it kind of seems like there's not much more variety throughout the game. I've seen this as a common complaint. So I'm thinking I'm right on track thinking that this is probably pretty common trend with this game, is that the variety's not much there with the random battles. Let's talk about number 9. All right, number 9 is going to be these different colored orbs that help you level up your abilities and all that stuff. These things are so annoying, and the collector in me and like the completionist in me in these RPG games, I have to like stop and collect them, and then they come back. So it's a little bit annoying. I kind of wish they would have gone with a different system on leveling abilities up. Maybe a usage system, or maybe just something different. Like this whole orb thing, and they are everywhere. It's not like you get them here and there. They are everywhere. Number 8 is getting into my kind of like, yeah, that's a really cool area. With number 8 is going to be the battle power meter in the menu. Now, this is kind of annoying because I kind of follow a lot of the power levels and stuff through, the original. I always did do like a power level list that, I kind of guesstimated after they got out of the scouters, like where their power levels were and stuff like that. And it just seems like none of these ever match up except for at certain major points in the series so far. And I mean, the scouter thing is still pretty important in the early DBZ areas, and they still just kind of let it, I don't know, they just don't match up sometimes. Number 7 is going to be the leveling and ability system. I already talked about the collecting orbs being a bit tedious. The 3 or 5 different types of orbs that you can pick up, they're just everywhere. And although that's good, that's also bad at the same time. I do enjoy the leveling and the ability system. I mean, a standard leveling system, you enough EXP, you level up. The abilities, you have enough of these orbs and you hit a certain level or point in the story and these things open up. Kind of makes sense for a DBZ game. I kind of would like to see a little bit more customization with that. It'd be kind of cool to see like Krillin do a Kaioken or something. And I can get more into that later. I have a little bit of a topic later I want to talk about with that. Number 6 is going to be the cooking system. I really like the system. I know it's pretty basic, and maybe later in the game it gets better. And also the fishing system. These two systems are they're good. I mean, you have Final Fantasy 15 with both fishing and cooking, and it's worked for them. The fishing system's a little basic. I kind of hope they advance that, but the cooking system has a lot of potential, and I'm really hoping that they really explore this system later on. Maybe if they do any more sequels or other games. My number 5, middle of the road, we're getting into the more positive aspects, is the Xenoverse battle system in this game. I really think they made a very great mesh of the battle system from Xenoverse and into the RPG open world format. I think it works really well. And also, I think that there's a lot of potential for growth in this system as well. My number four, I really like the minor retellings of the age old story. Now, if you were to sit there and watch the anime with this game's cinematics, you would obviously notice some minor differences. Honestly, I feel like this is good. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love the story, but sometimes there's a lot of drawn out things. There's a lot of things that just don't need to be there that are filler. And then there are some things that are just really nice and they kind of expand on them. There's different angles for different shots. There's they take this story in a way that makes it more streamlined and just makes a little bit more sense, rather than an anime. Top three, here we go. My number three is going to be the extra slice of life moments. I loved the very beginning of this game where Goku is, after the training sequence with Piccolo, and Goku and Gohan actually have some time together as father and son. And they actually pay that off, later on when Goku, I can't remember when he said, I think it's when he was either dying or whatever, he said, maybe we'll get together and fish again. That was not in the anime, but that beginning of that game set that up. And I really feel like that all the extra slice of life moments, especially I'm in the intermission right now in my current playthrough, and it's like all these slice of life things, I'm just loving it. It builds character. I mean, young Gohan is one of the most annoying characters that I have ever dealt with in my life, I promise you. But honestly, he's a little bit more tolerable because, I kind of grew with him a little bit more. He was a little bit more tolerable during the training sequences with Piccolo, the slice of life moments in the intermission, and even at the very, very beginning of the game with Goku. So I really like the way that they're doing these extra slice of life moments, and I hope there are many, many more throughout this game. My number two is going to be, of course, the mostly open world. This world is not only gorgeous, but it's so open. The only thing that remotely comes close that I remember playing in a Dragon Ball game was, I believe, Budokai 3, where they had the whole dragon world, and you were able to fly around and go from moment to moment and back and forth and everything. And I mean, you had side missions every now and then, and you found the Dragon Balls around the world. This takes that and goes from PS2 level to PS4 level, and they did a fantastic job at it. As I said, I don't like the fact that these little orbs are all over the place because they are every single where, but I do like this world. It is gorgeous. The colors are vibrant, and it feels alive. I mean, there's stuff going on everywhere. There's side missions everywhere. Pilaf's gang over here. Nam is hanging out over here. And as I said, I'm sure that there's more of this throughout the entire game, but this is only in my 15-hour initial playthrough so far. My number one is going to be the potential of the future for this game. Let me paint this picture for you because I've got an awesome idea for a sequel game. I know you're like, you haven't even gotten through this game, but we've all heard the age-old Dragon Ball story, and I'm sure this is a great retelling of it. And I'm sure they needed to do this to work out, whatever they wanted to do. But let's talk about a different game. Let's talk about a sequel to this game. It's going to be called Dragon Ball Xenoverse Kakarot. You're like, oh god, not the Xenoverse, but hear me out. In Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you get to customize your character. What if you customize a character and then Fu, the villain from the Xenoverse games, goes back in time and replaces baby Goku with baby your character? And then you, from Dragon Ball, from infancy in Dragon Ball all the way up through either the end of Z or Super, even to the end of the Cell Saga. I mean, the Boo Saga is good, but even to the end of the Cell Saga, it depends on if you back it up, how much more room do you have to work with for the whole story. But then you go through the whole DBZ storyline with your character, and honestly, I would say make some minor changes. You mess with time, tends to mess back. So you replace baby Goku with your baby custom character. You go all the way through Dragon Ball, but then let's say when the Saiyans show up, and this is just an example I thought of, instead of it just being Vegeta and Nappa, it's Vegeta, Nappa, and Kakarot, and then you have all of a sudden evil Goku, Vegeta, and Nappa, and then your character who is a Saiyan but is, and it's just, it opens up a wide possibility. You can customize these characters, and with the timeline change, it kind of makes sense. You can have Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, all maybe not Krillin, learn the Kaioken on King Kai's planet, because it may not have happened in the anime or the manga, but guess what? It's an alternate timeline. I feel like this is an opportunity, use kind of like the same format, the same world, and just expand on it with a whole new character, and just make some little changes in there, little shockers in there. And I know people would probably hate it because they're changing it, but at the same time, it would make it fresh and new. That's my top 10 thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot so far. As I said, I'm only 15 hours in. I'm loving every moment of it, except for when I'm going around picking up those damn orbs like all the time, and my completionist spirit makes me do it. It's like every time I see one, my pupils get wide, and I'm like, I gotta pick up that orb. But anyway, I mean, the fights are enjoyable, the graphics are phenomenal, the voice acting is great, even the minor changes are great. Gameplay works for me. It's not too hard, it's not too simple. And yeah, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, even in the past, and you like RPGs, pick this game up. Do yourself a favor. Maybe wait till it goes down a little bit in price. Pick this game up, because this game is amazing. You get to see parts of the Dragon Ball universe that you never got to see, the slice of life moments, and those are the best parts of Dragon Ball. I'm sorry. If one thing the anime always got right compared to the manga was that slice of life moments. I feel like Dragon Ball and Akira Toriyama did not spend enough time in slice of life moments until later on, like in Dragon Ball Super. But in Z and Dragon Ball, there was just not enough of that. So anyway, thank you for checking out my top 10 thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I appreciate you tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and check out our Facebook page. Be good to each other and yourselves.